Hey up, back again with another Harry Novak Presents. This time we're looking at Hitch Hike To Hell. This is a 1977 horror film directed by Irvin Berwick, who hasn't really done much outside of a couple more low-budget schlocky horror films that nobody seems to really like. He is the father, though, to Wayne Berwick, who did Microwave Massacre, which you might have heard of because Arrow have put out a version, and it's usually floating around CEX for cheap. The film stars Robert Gribbin, who hasn't done much outside of a bunch of TV roles by the looks of it, and we also get Russell Johnson, who was on Gilligan's Island. Now, I'm not familiar with Gilligan's Island at all. It's something I've heard of, but that's about as far as it goes. But this guy was in like 90 plus episodes of that show, so I'm assuming he was one of the main characters in it. But I don't know. The rest of the cast, all unknowns, pretty much only done this as well. A lot of one-shot actors. So, I mean, looking at the cover on this looks like one of the trashiest things in the collection so far. It looks like Millennium trash, but it's from the 70s. So either this is super misleading, or it's gonna somehow live up to this level of schlock. Let's have a look, shall we?
Hi.
Hi.
Where are you headed? Do you love your mother?
Sure, I love my mother. She's the greatest mom in the world.
It's all right. It's all right. Yes. It's all right. It's all right. What's the matter?
The plot follows Howard, a laundrette delivery man who picks up hitchhikers and kills them, but only if they dislike their mothers. You see, Howard's sister ran away from home many years ago, and it kinda messed his mother up, and so she sort of tightened that stranglehold she has on him, giving him pretty severe mommy issues. Oh yeah, and the cops are in the background trying to figure out who's committing the killings. It's a Shameless Psycho ripoff, sure, and apparently it's also based on the co-ed killings. Okay. Mainly though, it's a matter-of-fact and boring film. It's very routine. It gets stuck in this sort of pattern, this formula, where basically Howard goes to work, picks up a hitchhiker, kills him, goes home, drinks a root beer, freaks out, and then the cops find the body and are like, who did this killing? Rinse repeat 6 times over the 88-minute runtime, and there's the film, and then end abruptly as well, as it does. Yeah, by that halfway point, you're starting to really feel the formula, unfortunately.
Well, hello there.
Oh, hi.
You are going to Highway 60, aren't you?
No way. I never want to see my mother again.
It should be.
Won't you stop it? Please, stop fighting.
The acting isn't great, it isn't terrible, it's just sort of down the middle. There's a few good performances. Robert Gribbin is pretty good as Howard, even if he is just doing a less charismatic Norman Bates impression. Nothing really stands out with the actors, though. I guess the mother, she does alright. It's all fine. There's not really any gore in this either. There's a little bit of blood here and there, but not a lot. There's some violence, you get to see the stranglings, the killings, some of them, but that's about your lot, really. There's a dead kid at the end as well, which I wasn't actually expecting to see. You don't really see much, I guess, but it's, you know, that's about your lot, really. That's about as extreme as this gets. Yeah, it cuts away from a lot of the killings as well. I guess it's leaving it up to your imagination or whatever, but it just feels a little lazy, I guess. There's a little bit of sleaze here too, weirdly. It's not much, but you know, bit of boob popping out during the attacks. That's about it. For the Harry Novak, it's supposed to be this sort of sleaze expert. The past two films of his that we've watched have been pretty sleaze light, to be honest. There's been like 3 boobs shown in it, and that's your lot. Seems, I don't know, seems a bit off character for him, to be honest. How it's made isn't particularly great either. Some of the camera angles are a bit haphazard. It's very much camera on a tripod, let it roll. There's some shots have got a lot of negative space around them and it just looks a bit off. I can't even remember the music in it, that's how much that left an impact on me. Yeah, it's just sort of there. It just exists. It doesn't excel in any area whatsoever. There's no information about this film online either, and I guarantee you I will have forgotten pretty much completely about this in a week's time. It's that bland and forgettable. There's nothing really more to say on this. What I will say though is, I'll compare now. So we'll do a little mini ranking of the Harry Novak films as we go along. I preferred The Child to this, just. At least The Child had some atmosphere and mood to it. Like, this just doesn't have anything really to offer, to be honest. I'll tell you what it felt like, actually. So this might date the video a little. I'm currently working as well on the Drug Stories AGFA Blu-ray. There's a lot of short films in that, so I'm just drip feeding through them basically, just watching one when I have the spare time. And it kind of feels like an AGFA like scare film in a way, sort of being like, don't be too close to your kids because it'll fuck them up, or also don't let your kids run away from home because they'll get killed by Norman Bates' light. It has that sort of matter-of-fact tone. When the AGFA video comes out, when the next one comes out, which shouldn't be too... I don't know, it might be already out by the time this video's out, I'm not fully sure. But you'll see what I'm meaning. It's very matter-of-fact, it's very like, this is what will happen if these circumstances meet. And yeah, I could see it being a sort of scare film more than anything. I mean, outside of that, it has nothing to offer, and that's pretty much all I have to say on it, to be honest.
Tomorrow will be cold and soggy.
I hope she bites her fingernails every night.
Okay, time for the print, and it is not very good once again. It's not as bad as last episode's, The Child, that was awful. This is just pretty crap, to be honest. Again, the film stock is absolutely filthy. There's grain, there's dirt, there's damage done to it. None of it's even been tried, even tried to restore it. Again, it's a bit contrasty and saturated, like the colours are really blown out and weird. It makes people's like complexion looks strange. It's, yeah, the sound as well is a bit muffled when it wants to be. It's just not a very good print at all. Yeah, really bad. And on the disc we get chapter select and we get the Harry Novak showreel again, which we had in the last episode. It's exactly the same, and I think that showreel is why this is an 18, because there's not really anything in this film to be honest to really push it to be an 18. But there's a bunch of nudity in the showreel, and there's no disclaimer on the back like there has been on some of them saying, oh, the feature's actually a 15 but we bumped it up to an 18 because of the features, special features or anything like that. It just is. Like, I'd say that if I was to be BBFC man and rate this, I'd say harshly it's a 15 and leniently it's like a 12A, because there's nothing in it. Nothing happens in it. But that was a tangent. That's all you get on this disc. So less than last episode, but you know, you get the show reel, I guess. No trailer though, which is interesting. Okay, time for the case, and you probably already know my opinions on this front cover. Yeah, it's absolutely atrocious. Let's have a closer look at it though, shall we? So you can see where these girls have been really badly cropped out in Photoshop. It's got all this glitchy artifacting around it. Really, really bad job there. And then on top of that, it's just this awful garish red colour. It's so ugly looking. It's trying to sell it as this sleazy film, you know, slap Harry Novak's name on it, put two girls on the front who are in bikinis, make it red, you know, and it's super misleading because nothing happens in this film at all. Yeah, misleading and pretty naff, to be honest. The blurb is, yeah, it's a little garbled to read, it's clunky. And once again, it gives away the entire film, like every bit of this film is on the back here. But the information is correct. As is the runtime, which is better than last episode, so that's nice. It's worth mentioning, once again, this is the second ILC film in the collection. And again, we get no more Hard Gore stuff actually on the disc. It's just the ILC logo before the film, before the menu boots up. Overall then, yeah, it's not the worst, don't get me wrong, it's just completely inoffensively boring. It's just by the books, it's routine, it's formulaic, and there's no gore, action, it's not that funny, it's just sort of there, it just exists. And maybe that's the biggest crime of all sometimes, not really having at least one thing that it excels at. You know I'm not going to recommend this, but what I will say is watch Psycho. Watch any Psycho, in fact. All four of the Psycho films, I'd say, are more interesting and more entertaining than this. Definitely. I know Arrow have got the box set out of it, and yeah, get that. Don't bother with this. If for some reason you are in the market, Arrow have put out a Blu-ray of this, and that is and also isn't surprising for some reason. I don't know. I could, on one hand I can see them doing it, but on the other hand, does it need a Blu-ray release? This, really? If you see it cheap, maybe that's the best way to watch it, because it probably looks way better than this. This DVD is not worth your time or money. I briefly mentioned in the last episode, this again was one of the more expensive discs. I think I paid nearly £10 for this, and absolutely no chance it is not worth it. It might be this one, I think. Yeah, I think it was this one that was one of the expensive ones. These Harry Novak ones have sort of shot up in price. Or there's just not many about, so people don't know, and they're just like, fuck it, tenner. But yeah, don't bother with this. If you are going to get it, get the Arrow version. But honestly, I just wouldn't bother with it, just in general, really. Watch Psycho. So, not great. Not great. Pretty bland, pretty boring. Not the worst, but not the best either. And we are finishing off this little Harry Novak trilogy next episode with a film that I owned as a kid. This is the copy that I had as a teenager. I haven't seen it since I was a teenager, so I don't remember anything about it. I feel like it's a notorious film though. I'll have to do a little bit of research about it. But it's the last Harry Novak one as well, so hopefully it's a little bit better than these last two. Next episode, we are checking out Axe.